Virgo sun with Virgo moon and Virgo rising. So at the time of this person's birth, there were multiple cycles all kind of ending and beginning around the same time. So, for instance, this person was likely born near a Virgo new moon, and they were also born near sunrise and near moonrise as well. So, all these different kind of cycles are sort of happening at the same time. So, I want to start out by making the distinction of are the sun and or the moon, are they above or below the ascendant in the chart? That will tell you if they were born before or after sunrise and before or after the moonrise as well. And this makes a huge difference. So depending on whether these placements are, like, let's say they're below the ascendant, they hadn't risen yet, that will actually make this person much more outgoing. This person is going to have a really intense, strong-willed personality. If both the sun and the moon are above the ascendant and they had risen when this person was born, they're going to be much more closed off. They're going to be a kind of tortured, misunderstood soul. But I would expect a lot of you are probably going to have, maybe a combination, or maybe sun and or moon are tightly conjunct the ascendant, and so you may likely be kind of a mix of both, a really strong personality, but you're kind of stuck. Part of you is highly outgoing, but part of you is kind of lost in the depths of your own mind. So it's already a very dynamic situation we have here, especially, with this kind of cluster in Virgo. Virgo is a mutable sign. Mutable signs are complicated, as we'll see here. So I'm going to read off my little script that I prepared, and I'll kind of riff off as I go as well. So either way, regardless of where the sun and the moon are, Mercury plays a huge role in your chart, since Mercury not only rules both the luminaries, but Mercury is also the chart ruler since it rules the ascendant. And because we know here that Sun is in Virgo and Mercury is always within one sign from the Sun, we know that Mercury is going to be in one of three signs. So I do want to share a very small little bit of information about the possibilities of where your Mercury placement is as well, since it makes such a huge difference. So if your Mercury is in Leo, this adds a warm, powerful energy here, and it also indicates mastery when it comes to dealing with communal affairs. You're going to be more oriented toward the community and the public because your Mercury is high in your chart compared to these other possibilities. So for instance, if Mercury's in Libra, this adds social grace, detachedness, and strong communicative abilities. But again, because Mercury is going to be much lower in the chart here, if it is in Libra, that would suggest that this person's communication is more focused on like one-on-one communication rather than like publicity or communal type of stuff. But the most likely possibility here is that Mercury's in Virgo, and this is also, you could debate that this is the most powerful Mercury position here, since Mercury's exalted in Virgo. So this would indicate that this person is extremely intelligent, and even more than that, it also suggests, well, it doesn't just suggest, it means that this person would have a Virgo stellium. And so this really just intensifies the chart. Anytime you have a lot of placements echoing the same theme, or kind of clustered in one place, it means that you're going to have really intense strengths in those areas, like in Virgo, for example. But it also suggests that you're going to have, other parts of your chart that are totally devoid, and so you may be very challenged. You may have really intense strengths and really intense challenges as well. So for instance, if you have Virgo sun, moon, and rising, but especially if you also have Mercury in Virgo as well, that would suggest that you are just all about being analytical. You're all about organizing and refining, and all this kind of stereotypical Virgo stuff, right? Your blind spots are going to be more symbolized by the sign of Pisces. So, for instance, it may be really difficult for you to accept things, or just kind of go with the flow, or kind of just, wing it, not to have a plan all the time, not to have everything be calculated and understood. A Pisces once told me, I don't think I have to understand something to appreciate it, right? So that's going to be really difficult for you with this big three all in Virgo, especially if Mercury's in Virgo as well. Regardless of your Mercury placement, though, the challenge here is that your energy is directed inward. So yes, I did say that you may have a very intense, outgoing personality. That can be true as well. But still, with all these placements in Virgo, Virgo is a sign that is kind of constantly chewing at itself, if that makes sense, sometimes literally. You are constantly taking in new data and observations, not just information, but emotion as well. You're kind of just taking in everything. You're like a sponge, and you're constantly sifting through whatever you've already gathered. So they always say, hindsight is 2020. I think that's especially true the more Virgo placements you have. So, for instance, if you have Virgo Sun, Moon, and Rising, you're just constantly going over the past, constantly looking at patterns and data, and there is a lot of intelligence that comes from this, but it can also create a lot of anxiety and a lot of kind of like stuck energy in the body as well. I think that's what I go on to say here. Pondering about life's mysteries or ruminating on the past may help you to integrate and to build a vast understanding of your world, but it can also lead you to so much self refinement that you block any sort of creative spark. Right, so it's kind of a catch 22. On the one hand, there's so much intelligence here, and you can do so much with that intelligence. But on the other hand, you're kind of just stuck like mulling things over and chewing and like breaking things down. So I almost feel like I need to pair this person with like someone else who has like some fire or air or even water in their chart. Because you have so many earth placements, with Virgo being an earth sign, you may be lacking in some of these other elements. And really, I think, air, water, fire are a little bit more creative or spontaneous. So you may find that people with these other elements really balance you a lot. Although you seek ultimate efficiency, organization, and understanding, and you're definitely very good at building and improving on these things, just know that it is the process of building these things itself that propels and motivates you, not the outcome itself. So, in other words, this is something I've seen with people with Virgo placements in general, where you would think that their perfect world would be everything's organized, everything's efficient, right? But actually, that would be kind of like their own personal hell, because that would give them nothing to do. Your whole purpose, if you have these placements, is to make things more efficient and improve on things. And so it's kind of like you need a balance. You need an environment that is, chaotic enough to give you something to do and to work with, but not too chaotic, because that would stress you out. That would be overly stimulating. So just recognize that, try to find these environments where there is enough work to do, but not too much that it burns you out. Let's see. Yeah, and I think I just go on to say, so if and when you find yourself with nothing left to improve and everything is like quote unquote perfect, um, what I've seen is that people with these placements they seem to make chaos. They'll seem to just throw everything away or to self destruct. And it almost looks to me like it's their way of finding something to do again. Like they need something to work on, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but anyway, this is definitely a highly misunderstood combination. This combination creates a person that's very nuanced and that's very attentive to detail. And this combination will also withhold a lot of their emotion. So they may appear very detached when in actuality they're holding a lot of stuff in. They're very good at compartmentalizing. So just know that not all is what meets the eye with this combination for sure. But yeah, my only advice would be just know that at a young age you probably had to suppress a big part of your personality, so that will come out later in life. For most people, it comes out somewhere between age 18 and, like, let's say the early 30s. So you're kind of a late bloomer, basically, is what I'm getting at. Okay, this has gone on way too long. I'm so sorry, but yeah, just do your best to allow yourself to be, if that makes sense. And again, I think a key part of that is find the environment that has like just the right amount of chaos, because too much chaos will stress you out, but you need a little bit of chaos to not be stressed. Like not having enough chaos will make you just as stressed, if that makes sense. But yeah, also spend time in nature as well. I think that's good advice for everyone, but especially when you have a lot of earth placements like this. So yeah, I hope that helps. Definitely let me know what you think. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.